Hi, I'm actually stuck on this rule. I did find an answer in Board Game Geek, but I'm not very satisfied with the answer. Um, this guy here, Robert, oh here, let me put this down and actually look like I'm actually prepared to talk with you guys. All right, here we go. So here you can see, this is our exact situation. And he's asking our exact question. Do I expedite the reserves? And he feels that it's pointless because they're coming out anyway on the next day. Just so you understand, expediting reserves is pointless all the time as far as I'm concerned. Or do I skip this command altogether and move on to the next command? So he's saying you should skip. And he's citing the exact rule that I found. It's called the no position rule. If reserves can't be deployed, you move on to the next command. And then he's saying, note that we're on the 16th, and per the slow allied reaction rule, only one reserve would have been deployed. However, the part that he's missing is it says right here, it remains in effect even though the eligible reserves have been expedited to the reserve units box. Okay? So they move to the reserve units box. And so I'm assuming that they're going to move to the reserve units box no matter what, because let's say that I did find a position for my one unit. The second unit would have been in the reserve unit box. That's not a question. What he's saying is it would have stayed on the December 17th calendar, or at least that's what he's implying, because he's saying only one reserve would have been deployed. Now, he really isn't mentioning what happens to the other one. But that's what I would gather from what he said. Now, in my humble opinion, the rules are very clearly stating, even though the eligible reserves have been expedited to the reserve unit box. So I wrote my own Board Game Geek message asking this same question, almost exactly the same question this guy did, except I explained why I thought it was the other way. So I actually think that they move to the reserves and the impulse is over because of this specific rule, even though the eligible reserves have been expedited to the reserve unit box. It's saying a unit may be deployed directly, remains in effect, even though the eligible reserves have been expedited. So So the other thing is I think that per this rule, up here it says, if there are any, move them to the reserve unit box. So the first thing we do is we move them to the reserve unit box. Then we check for late day deployment, and if this is triggered, we deploy them. So I'm not deploying them from the December 17th box, I'm deploying them from the reserve unit box. I think I just answered my own question, folks. I think the rules are, they could have been written better, but I think that I worked this out and already got my answer. They are staying in the reserve unit box because this is where, so no matter what, they move to the reserve unit box, period. Then they get deployed to the map. But if there's no position found, then they just go back to the reserve unit box. So they still got expedited, so we still did an action, so therefore the impulse is over. So that's my take on it, and I think I'm going to officially declare that this guy got it wrong. He is correct that you're supposed to skip the command if it was a deploy reserves, but this is not a deploy reserves, this is an expedited reserves, and half of the expedited reserves actually executed. They did move from the December 17th box over to this box. They just didn't deploy to the map. And that's, I fully recognize this is wonky and confusing. And for those of you that are using this to learn from the game, you can see it's real easy to run into these kind of situations. And if you went to Board Game Geek and saw this answer, you would probably just do whatever this guy says. And maybe I should too. Maybe someone's going to come in and correct me. But I actually think he's wrong. Look, I've gotten so many rules wrong playing this game that I've gotten paranoid with trying to read these rules as precisely as I can and take them as literally as I can. And that's the thing. These rules, if you take them literally, in the first paragraph, just one final refresher. So this is literally the rules. This paragraph says, move them to the reserve box. Done. Okay? You do this no matter what. This paragraph says, okay, now deploy them. So that's the key. There's two pieces to it. And the fact is we deployed them and there was no position. So this is saying you would move on to the next command, but that's not going to happen. I'm not moving on to the next command because we already did this command. We did this part of the command, and I technically did this one. I did try to deploy them. The deployment failed. So I fully did this command. So I actually think that's wrong, and those 3 likes should be erased. I would take the time to try to explain this to him, but this is 2016. So now I did put my own post out there so people can chime in on their thoughts, but this is my video answer to my question. And I wish I had so much confidence that I could tell you definitively that I'm correct, but I think based on my experience with this game is that you need to be as literal as you can with it. So I'm going to rule that, and if I end up getting corrected, I will come back and tell you. But let's move on with the game. I would like to keep playing instead of sitting here talking about the rule book. So it is our turn, and we have so many juicy choices for our turn. So the units that cannot activate are these purple units. The let's see, XL was 45, 6, 7. I'm not good with Roman numerals, so this is the 47th Corps. They're the only ones that can't activate this turn. So we got a couple really nice cards. We got the 7th Army card. We got the 6th Army card. We got this one, which is an awesome one to activate. And we still have this one, okay? This is the Panzer Corps. And believe it or not, I am playing this card. Okay, there's 2 reasons I'm doing this. The first one is we're not activating them. So that's why I'm doing this. So we're not going to activate them. And as long as I don't activate them, I'm allowed to play this card. They activated last impulse, so we must rest them for 1 impulse. And as long as we don't activate them, they're still resting. What I'm doing this for is I'm going to play the Bridge Engineers event. And remember, our command value is 5, and this is only 3 of the 5. So I'm going to be able to play this command and then play another command. And that other command I'm planning on playing is one of these Panzer Army cards. And you can see those are juicy 4-pointers, okay? So the command level is 5. I can go all the way up to 15 or some infinite number. It doesn't matter. As long as I hit 5, that's what triggers the end of my impulse. So if I play 3 points, I can sneak this command in and then still play another command and basically get to do 2 things in my 1 impulse. If I play this card by itself, chances are I'm going to play a combat tactic with it and go over my 5 points. So that's my logic. I hope that you find it helpful. But we're going to do the Bridge Engineers command. And this is actually the first time I've ever done something like this. But we're going, as you can see, the Allies are no longer on this side of the bridge. So we're going to repair the bridge. So this is no longer destroyed. And that does mean I need a bridge marker, so I'm going to just steal one from, do I really need to have 3 bridges here? And the answer is probably not. but I'm going to just steal one from the back here. Somebody mentioned that this is probably not the best way to put bridges. I don't disagree, but I do want to show that I have this bridge. And yes, it does push my units a little bit and makes a little bit messy, but I now have a repaired bridge and I can steamroll across with all my units. And that is the awesome sauce I'm looking for. Those are the droids I'm looking for. And with no allied units there, that's even better. Okay, so now I do have this 0 card, which is pretty interesting. All it does is activate 1 unit here or 1 unit there. One thing I failed to point out, you can always play these cards to activate any unit. It doesn't matter where it is on the map or which corps it's part of. It's a little silly, but if you're trying to move a unit to take a city before the allies reinforce it, it actually is useful. And then my only other card is this one, which isn't super exciting. These guys are, they're these orange guys up here. They're not very strong, but we do need to push these allies back from getting on our west wall. So that is an issue, but I'm hoping to maybe cut them off from supply instead. So they are on the other side of the river, and as we've learned, the river can be a tricky place. So what do? I say now, after repairing that bridge, we should do the 6th Army. So we'll save these other ones for later. We're going to do the 6th Army. So here's what's awesome sauce about the 6th Army. The 6th Army is going to trigger, or it impacts everybody that's in that army, potentially. So I can activate any corps I want. I can activate this corps, the red one, the yellow one, and actually those are the only 2 corps in the 6th Army right now. But as you can see, there's a whole lot of units. But there's this little token called the camp group token. And see it has a number 2 on it. It has a 2 radius in all directions. And so if I put that right here, the 6th Panzer Army lets me activate 1 camp group. You can see that right here. That's the 2nd command down. We can deploy all the reserves. We can activate a camp group, or we can activate a unit with, we can activate 1 of the corps, or we can choose any command event we want. In honor of one of my viewers, I'm going to make sure I point out something that I made a mistake of, actually many times, and got corrected many times. The commands here, the ones that have the little greater than symbol are special commands. So like this one here and this one here are not eligible. When you can do any command you like, it's like bridge engineer. It's you can't even do the R ones either. Those are reaction commands. So all of these are ineligible except for commandos. Commandos is interesting. The allies get skipped. So you could play an army card to make them skip their impulse. It's pretty interesting. But I'm not doing that. I'm doing the camp group like I showed you. And this is a wonderful, wonderful card. We're not going to see it for 2 turns, but I am very happy that we got it on December 16th. So, so what does the camp group do? It, in 2 directions, so 1, 2, 2 directions anywhere, 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2. All these units get to activate. So I'm going to get to activate all of the yellow corps, which I could have just activated a corps, correct? However, I'm also activating this red unit to help us. So it gets me 1 more unit than I was initially planning, and so that's what I'm hoping for there. Now we got a lot of options here. We have this is a double stack of green defenders. They're in a town. that has woods, not forest, but woods. So they're going to be able to absorb a hit because they're in a town. The fact that they're green, we might be able to take advantage of. It depends. These are green units as well, and they have a position here. This is a fuel marker. So if we were able to come in and take this town, we would actually get to claim this marker, and it might help us later. And it's allowing us to push behind their line. So I think it's very crucial that we can punch through here. Now, it's also crucial that we get rid of these guys who are also green, and these guys who are also green. We can't go below this squiggly here. However, we can still try to take this guy out. I think there's some value to that because I don't think these orange guys are strong enough to take him out by himself. We actually have two of them here. And so the orange guys probably are strong enough to take out this one, but not necessarily that one. And certainly not both. I think because, yeah, my point here is that this guy could never leave his position to go up and help up here. So these two alone would have to take this on, and that's not strong enough. But maybe all three of them together could take on this one. That's my point I'm trying to make. All right, so I want to get some hurt in. That's really what I want to do. I think I'm going to attack here, not because I think I'm going to win, but because I do have this guy to help. So I can move. Trying to stand up, and my dog's in the way. So here you can see I have 3 units that I'm going to move forward. When you move or attack, your improvement marker goes away. That's why I was saying it was a silly improvement marker, but so anyways, I'm going to do that. And then this camp group token, I'm just going to temporarily move it out of the way. We know what's activating. And then I'm going to move these guys up into here. So I actually have 3 sets of units attacking there. I do have 3 units to attack this one, which I don't know if it's enough. And then I have these 2 infantry that I can either move here or here. And you can see that this is a 3 stack. So I can't move them here. So what I would do then is move them here to help out with this battle. And then I have some units back here. I have this armor, looks like a recon unit. I don't think it's officially a recon unit in the game, it just looks like one. He can move 6 spaces. And then we have this Piper unit, which is a super powerful one. He has strength of 6. So, movement point wise, this would be 1, but if I'm skipping from this road to that road, that woods cost me 3, so that would be 4, and then this is 5, and that's 6. So you can see that I'm not going to get into the action if I do that. If I came up, this would be 1, 2, and then this is 3 more for 5, and then I wouldn't have enough movement to move to either of those. So this Piper unit is sort of in a pickle. So the other thing I can do is move these guys back. And Piper can go 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, actually, I'm not allowed to go below this squiggly line. See this? So 1, 2, 3, and then move here. But this is a forest. And a forest costs 4. So he would need 7 movement points. He's in an awful spot. So, so what I think he's going to do instead is he's going to spend 3 movement points to get to here, and then just go along the road 4, 5, 6. So he's positioned to help up here. And then this guy, for similar reasons, is going to do the same thing. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1 more for 6. Why am I doing that? I'm doing it so I can reinforce the north. And as you can see, this is a 2 victory point spot. And these guys are gonna add some strength to these units for an attack. The other thing is I could bring them down here, but I got the squiggly issue. I could go straight across here. Actually, I could do that. Let's rethink this. So I can put these two units back and then just go 1, 2, 3, and then move here for 4. And then 1, 2, 3, and there for 4. So then these two infantry units are sitting here with nothing to do. I think I like that outcome a little bit better. Now, infantry can move into woods for just 1 movement point. So the forest, however, is 2 movement points. So I could, with these infantry, go here for 1 movement point and here for 2. So this infantry can move there and then there. They are allowed to move through this difficult terrain because they're not mechanized units. So they can move through that crap a lot easier. And just a refresher, you can see here that the woods is 1 for infantry and 3 for mechanized. That's why it was so painful. And then here for a forest, it's 2 for the infantry. So we spent 1 to go into a woods and then 2 to go into forest. So that was the 3 movement points for the infantry. The mechanized units were able to move through stuff only because there was a road. And as long as a road's there, they can move through it 1-1. So what I effectively have done is I didn't help the north like I was saying I wanted to do, but I just made this battle a little tougher. And then these guys are all alone against him. I am concerned about that, but I think that's going to be fine. And then I have a nice stack up against them. So we're going to do 3 battles with this, and I might take some damage here. Now, what kind of commands am I going to do? Well, the first one is I'm going to play a combat engineer, which will destroy one of the improved position markers. I just haven't, we got to decide which one. I think I'm going to destroy the one with the unit that's a single stack attacking by itself. The next thing I can do is I can play this one, and you can see here that he would count as any tactic I want. And so one of the tactics I could do is I can make it assault coordination. And if I make it assault coordination, I can have this unit join in the battle against them. I don't know how fantastic that is. I can do reinforced battle, which will allow a unit to move up. So like this unit can move and join the battle, and this unit actually does have the ability to move there. It's a decent idea. I don't know if I want to play a whole army card to be able to do that, but that's I can also add air power, which is something that's really rare for the Germans to have. But we could add air power. I'm tempted not to do it just because it's such a powerful card. I could add artillery here. So you can see this one is an artillery. I don't know if I want to do that. Because believe it or not, if we destroy this unit here, let me get the focus back on. If we destroy this unit here, these 3 units really could take him on, and I would need this card to be able to do it. So that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to play a combat engineer, and we're going to destroy the improved position marker of this guy. Let me get the camera up here so you can see better. So this guy is only being attacked by 1 stack, so I'm going to destroy his improved position marker because that'll make it easier to make him retreat or die or whatever it is that they want to do right before Christmas. So let's do these 1 battle at a time. Somebody suggested that I should quit trying to remember my min-maxes and use like 2d12 dice or something like that. And I was thinking to myself, my gosh, why didn't I think of that? So it's a fantastic idea. Just give me 1 second. So what I grabbed, poker chips, because I'm a poker chip kind of guy. So what I got are these poker chips that have the cards on them. They're probably hard to see with the camera, but they got, you know, ace, king, queen, jack. And then I have the poker chips that I got from the latest edition of Brass. So here's what we're gonna do. 2 poker chips represents the minimum chit draw, and then the maximum chit draw is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have an elite unit which makes it 6. So there you go. So we got 6 is our max and 2 is our min. And that's how I'm gonna remember the amount of chits I can draw. I just need to do one final check. Yeah, nobody has 3 pips. Okay, so let's see how this one turns out. I'm a little nervous about this one, but we'll try. We draw 2. And only defender has combined arms. That is not true. We are the only ones with combined arms, so we do get a hit. Are we less than 1 to 1 or greater than 1.5 to 1? I think we're greater than 1.5, but let's double check. I actually never checked in the first place. So you don't get to count this unit even though he's next to him. He's not involved in the attack. This is a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 6 is 14. Oh, look, that's 3 pips right there. 14, 16. This is 16 to 3. We're 5 to 1 odds. And I'm adding another poker chip because we actually had 3 pips. The Piper division is pretty awesome. All right, so we've taken a hit, which I'm not too thrilled about, but we've done 2 hits to him. Now, with him having 2 pips, what he's going to do is he's going to retreat once. So if we were to look at that table, he'll retreat once because this ties the number of pips he has. So he'll, no matter what, he'll retreat once. There is one place he can retreat to that won't cause him to take damage, so that's where he would go. He would go here into this forest. And let me just tell you that my experience with this game is that when they're in the forest, they draw a lot of chits that let them cancel hits that are done to them because the forest is just really difficult to do battle in. You don't want allied units going into the forest, but this one would. His desired place to go is here, but that's in our zone of control and he won't do that. So in fact, there's only, like I said, there's only one place he can go, that's there. So we really want to do 4 hits on this guy. We've done 2, because, okay, so fine. How does the 2 play out? He would retreat for sure, and then with this position value of 3, we would roll a die to see if he would take another damage. Actually, let me check. See how he has a bracket on the back? We wouldn't roll a die. If a unit has a bracket, he loses zone of control. And so the table, I know I keep mentioning this table, let me just show you. So B there is how we know he's going to retreat the first time. And then what's going to happen is C will trigger. Because if he loses a step, he would then have a bracket. And that would cause him to exert no zone of control. So he would actually, right now, he would just retreat twice and become disrupted. That's what would happen. And he would take no damage. But we would retreat him twice, right into the forest, by the way. Not very kind to us. We can draw 7 chits. We've drawn 2. And so I'm going to go ahead and draw. Let's draw 4 more. So that'll get us to 6. I mean, I might as well just go to 7, huh? Up. I forgot something. He gets to draw a card. This is not his core, so we're fine. And actually, this is happening. Uh-oh. We may not be doing any damage at all. So let's back up. Hold the fences. He's doing bug out because it's December 16th. So let's look up what bug out does. And I apologize that I have been so discombobulated with this one. I should have checked that card long before we ever drew these. So I just got excited about damaging this guy. So bug out is for defender only, which he is. Prior to combat resolution, if the odds are greater than 3 to 1, remember we're like, what was it, 18 divided by 3? We're like 6 to 1. Conduct an allied hold check roll. If the result indicates a retreat, he retreats 2 hexes per the retreat rules, but does not get dispersed. The attack is considered resolved. The attackers may advance after combat. If the die result indicates a hold, resolve the combat normally, okay? Not resolved if the defender is out of communication or combat odds are less. Okay, so we got to do what's called a hold check. And that is actually the check I was talking about in here. So it's this section here. So what's the hold value of the hex that he's on? That's that orange number. It's a 2. And so his hold value is a 2. He has 2 steps, so that's 4. Are all the attackers across the river? No, they're not. Is he surrounded or out of communication? No, he's not. Would all the retreat routes require step loss? No. If defending units have already retreated? No. So his value is a 4. So we're going to roll, and if it's less than a 4, he doesn't take a step loss. We would just do a battle. But if we roll that he's going to retreat, then he does the bug out. So you can see I rolled a 1. So we're going to do the battle. Anyways, no harm, no foul. We're going to do the battle, and there you go. We got 2 chits, and I'm going to go ahead and just draw 5 more. I am going to go to 7, yes. So let's do it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and sorry, I ended up looking at them and I wasn't supposed to. 5. Okay, so, all right, I got to look at the odds again. 3, 5, and 6 is 11, 14, 16 to 3. So that's 5 to 1 odds. Okay, we're not greater than 7 to 1. We are greater than 4 to 1, so there's our 3rd hit we're looking for. Is he in the woods, forest, or city? He is, so he's going to cancel a hit. See? This is where... Oh, hold on. He's in broken. He's not in woods, forest, or city. He's in broken, okay? This is a large attack, so we get to cancel a hit. Cha-ching, cha-ching. Is he undispersed or dispersed and unsupplied? No, he's not. Is there a defender adjacent? No, there's not. So that one's out. And are we greater than 1.5 to 1? We are, and there we go. We take another hit. But we got our 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 5 hits on him. And I hope you can agree, based on the rules, these 2 would cause him to retreat twice, and then the next 2 would cause him to take 2 damage. So this particular unit had a improved position. So actually, let's back this up. The first hit would have destroyed the improved position. The second hit would have made him retreat. The third hit would have made him retreat again. And then these 2 hits would have caused him to take a step loss and another step loss and be eliminated. So we needed everything to be able to eliminate him. I totally forgot about the improvement marker. All right, so this one cancels that hit on us. However, we do take 1 hit. So let's get that resolved and come over here. And I'm gonna get my poker chips off the board. Okay, so it was this guy here, and we take 1 hit. This is pretty straightforward. We're gonna hit one of our infantry. This one's only has 2 strength, so we'll hit him like so. Okay, now we do get to do advance. And so everybody can advance to this, and then the mechanized units can advance 1 more space. Now, I have to check, because see, these are rivers here. I have to check to see if he can actually advance into this space, which is what I would like to do. But these infantry can move forward like so. These guys won't advance at all if I can't go to here. So let's check out the advance, or the retreat rule, or I'm sorry, advance rule. Okay. So German advance after combat, if the attacked hex is vacated and the attackers did not disperse, then we get to move into the hex regardless of enemy zone of control. That's what we just did with our infantry units there. The 2 hex advance, mechanized units may advance 2 hexes if the defender conducted a 2 hex retreat or was eliminated. That's exactly what happened. The first must be to the vacated hex, but must stop if it crossed here, let me put the camera down. If it crossed an unbridged river. The second may be any hex, but when deviating from the path of the retreat, a unit may not move from an enemy-controlled hex to another, may not cross an unbridged river, may not enter a forest hex unless, okay, this is only when deviating. So we're not going to deviate, folks, because remember, his retreat path was mandated to go here. So we're going to advance and then advance along his retreat path, and that allows us to actually move and cross the river all in one shebang. Oh, no it doesn't. No it doesn't. There's another rule that says you may not cross the river from this hex side more than 1 unit. I think that's true even in advance. Oh, what a web we weave. We got to get out I think the player aid's not quite enough. Let's get out the rule book and resolve this. Okay. Victorious attacking units use general advance rules. We may end up triggering roadblock checks, so we got to be mindful of that. Advancing across rivers. This depends on whether the river has a bridge or not. If it's unbridged, a unit may only advance across if it was attacked across that hex side or is following the path of retreat. A unit advancing across must stop in the hex across the river, even if the unit is mechanized and advances only 1 hex. Furthermore, only 1 unit may advance across an unbridged river in a single combat. See, that's it. So you're limited to only 1 unit being able to cross. So I can't move that entire stack like I just did. So let's go back. I don't think I want to do that. Actually, I do want to do that, but let me back up a little bit. First of all, When this guy advanced to here, we trigger a roadblock check there. Okay, so where's the dice? I rolled a 10, so no roadblock's going to appear there. So then I am going to advance this little recon unit along the path. And the reason I'm doing that is because this bridge is now flipping to German. And since it's December 16th, let me check the rule. Is it first impulse only? Nope, the entire day, allies do not blow up bridges. So this was important to take this spot, because by taking this spot, I was able to get this bridge flipped to German control because, well, hold on. Ay. It's not German control yet. This unit here is still putting a zone of control here. So I have to, I'm just gonna check real quick. Again, and I apologize, but that's the weirdness of this. There's a lot of if then else's here. I'm still here, I'm just looking. Okay, so here's what you want. You want section 16 here, and then there's a section called bridges. Change of control is what we're looking for. It changes ownership when a non-owning unit crosses the bridge, or when a non-owning unit begins its activation in a hex bordering the bridge and no owning unit occupies the hex across the bridge. When bridge ownership changes, place a German or Allied bridge control marker. If the ownership of the bridge later reverts, remove it. Okay, so it was very clear that I have to cross the bridge, or when he starts an activation there. So the takeaway here is if this unit were to activate in a future turn, I will be able to take possession of this bridge, because zone of control doesn't matter. This allied unit needs to be in that exact spot in order to prevent me from taking control of the bridge. But I didn't cross the bridge, so therefore I don't have control of it. Not yet, but the next time I activate that unit, I will be able to automatically take the control. Now, one last thing, newbie thing. I don't roll for roadblock here because there's no road. So just be mindful of that. And like I said, no bridge demolition because this is still December 16th. Boy, was that a loaded turn or what? Actually, the turn's not over. That was one combat. So the game can be pretty involved. And it's even more involved when you're triggering all these crazy rules. But I'm hoping that this is at least helping you with situational awareness. And we're going to run into some of these a couple more times. And the one thing I can tell you is I made these mistakes a million times, and I probably still made some. The one thing I'm hoping that you're noticing is that I'm aware that I need to check the rules. Even though I don't remember the rule, I'm aware that I at least have to go check it. And that's an awareness that's actually quite helpful once you finally get it. Okay, let's do the really difficult battle. That's this one right here. Now, I played the engineer card, so that's going to get me a combat chit. And then I think I have 3 units there, so it's going to give me 3 more. And I have an elite unit, so it's going to give me another one. And I think that's 5. So we're up to 5. Yep. 3, 4. Yeah, so I'm going to get to draw 5. And then the minimum is 2. Okay? And he's a green unit. We did destroy his improved position marker, so that is going to help. Before I forget to do anything, what must we do? We must draw a card. Okay, this is not his core. He's the 5th core. The guy is. This is the, what is that, 18th core. But he's going to, oh, look at this. He doesn't get any tactic. Yes! This doesn't happen until December 19th. Sweet daddy. All right, so he's getting no help. That is good for us. So we're going to attack with 2 units here. 2 Utes are coming at him. Here we go. We have, is he dispersed or unsupplied? No, he's not. IP Crossfire. Okay, this is saying if he has an improvement position, then we take a damage and he cancels one. Remember, our engineers destroyed his improvement position, so neener, neener. Okay, this one, though, does nothing for us or nothing for him, so it's going into the box. All right, so we got to look at ratios here. He has 3 strength, and I'm just going to check off camera here. 5, 10, 12. So 12 divided by 3, we're at 4 to 1. We scored a hit. Okay, that hit would force him to retreat because a step loss would make him lose zone of control. Retreat would put him right where that fuel marker is. I'm pretty sure. Yes, see that little blue? And the reason we know he's going to retreat is because if he were to take a step loss, he would become a bracketed unit and lose zone of control. So they would retreat no matter what. So the thing is it's a wonderful result with just 1 stack attacking him, because we would be able to advance and then we would surround him. He would be surrounded. Now I know one of my viewers told me that he's not surrounded because he can still trace communication and supply through this unit. And so here's the part that the viewer's correct about. Yes, this has communication, and yes, this would have supply, but no, he is still surrounded. The surrounded rules don't care if there's an allied unit next to him. If I can put zone of control in every space around him, he's considered surrounded. Anyways, back to what we're doing here. I drew 2 chits. I have the option for 3 more, and I'm going to do it. Let's get 3 more. Although these are elite units, and I don't want to take damage with them, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to draw 3 more, and let's see what we get. So, I got to do it in the right order. So I'm going to mix these up in my other hand. Which one am I drawing first? This one. That's 1, 2. All right, and then the blue one is the 3rd one. Okay, so this, of course, is all going to go into here. Are we greater than 3 to 1? Of course we are. What's the other side say? Yep, we're greater than 3 to 1. Is he in a forest or city? He is not. He's on broken terrain. And if he's on broken terrain, he takes a damage. And neither of us have artillery. So that one's going to go in the box. Okay, so this was wonderful. We just did 3 hits to him. So per the sheet, the number of hits we have are more than the number of steps he has. So for the first hit, he's going to retreat. Nothing surprising there. Okay, so I'm going to put this in the box. So now he has 2 hits left. That still equals the number of steps he has, so he's going to retreat a second time along the blue bar to here. And then that causes him to be disrupted. However, the other unit is technically not disrupted, so I'm going to put it underneath. Okay, so that causes the second hit to go away. Now we have one more hit left, and since he's retreated twice, he is going to take a damage. But he's not going to be destroyed. So we did push him back quite hard. And so now we get the option to do an advance. So I'm going to advance to here. And that would surround him. Now I have the option to advance again, and I think I'm going to do it. Now, trivia quiz. Why are we not going to draw a blockade there, or do a blockade check? I'm not sure if I explained that to you yet. So roadblock is the word I'm looking for. Okay, so the reason is you roll a die when you're moving, advancing, or reinforcing. You enter a hex adjacent to an empty insupplied ally position hex with a road that is itself not adjacent to any other unit. Any unit other than the moving unit. Exception, if the position has a value of 5 or 6 or is adjacent to a lone allied unit with combat strength, then you roll a die. Okay, so the reason we're not checking that 3 there is because there's an allied unit next to it. So we don't do this check. Now, if I'm advanced to here, then yes, we will do a check on this one. So let's do that right now, because I am going to do the double advance. I don't see a value in... Actually, he's still surrounded. So I accomplished both goals. All right, let's roll. I rolled a 4, which is higher than the 2, so we're safe. And then we get to take this marker, and let's hope it's a yes. It's a no. So I'm going to just set it off to the side. And that just means that the other ones are going to be more coveted. But we did take a very important spot. And once again, we're not doing a roadblock check here because this unit is next to it. But we just pushed. And this guy is officially surrounded. We have zone of control here, 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 and then because of him, there. So this guy is officially surrounded, even though he does have other options to get communication, etc. So now we're going to do the last battle. We're up against 2 units, so the minimum chit draw is 4. Okay, and then for us, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we don't have any elite units. In fact, we got a green unit, which can be pretty awful, because green units can cause us to get hits. But that's it. We have 7, and we did not play any cards to go with it. So let's see what we can do. So far, I've been pretty happy with our outcomes, but this one's a 4 chit minimum, so we're gonna see. And what kind of terrain is he on? He's in a town that's in the woods. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's see here. He is in a town, so that means we're going to take a hit and he gets reduced by a hit. So that's awful. There are no allied air power, but it is December 16th. So we reduce a hit and do a hit. We have combined arms. And he's not in a city, but he is in the woods. Let me see what the other side says. Yep. So he's canceling a hit again. So he cancels this hit, and then he cancels that hit. So right now we've done 0 hits to him. And he did do a hit to us, but we canceled his hit. So, so far, nobody's damaging anybody. So I can draw 3 more, and I might as well, because so far the outcome has been nothing. So let's do it. I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3. Is the defender elite? Nope. the defender is green, so he takes a hit. And are we greater than 1.5 to 1? The answer is going to be yes. We got him surrounded by a lot of units, but let's check. Since it's an early game and people are learning, he's got 2, 5 strength. We have 4, 8, 12, 5, 17, 19, 21, 23. So we're 4 to 1. So that's going to happen. And then only the attacker has armor. That is also true. So we got another hit in. So all in all, this is good. We have, as you can see here, 1, 2, 3. Oh, we can draw one more chit because we have a unit that has 3 pips. And I promise you I would have done that. So let's get one more in. And it is a flank attack. So we do get one more hit, which is good. I'm actually very happy to see that. All right, so as I said, these 4 cancel each other out. So we're going to just toss all these out. Now, he is in a town. Don't forget that, because I forget it all the time. He is in a town, so we're going to cancel another hit. So he's taking 3 hits. Remember, he has 4 pips, so that does not mean he's going to retreat. So this is actually going to be a lot more complicated, figuring out what happens to him. And then we take 1 hit, so let's figure that out right now. That 1 hit I'm going to do on our green units here, and like so. Okay, so let's do his 3 hits here. And you want to just get out your chart. It's the most helpful for this situation. And remember, like I said, he has 4 pips. So the A doesn't matter because he hasn't retreated twice. B only matters if the number of hits is at least equal to the steps. He has 4 steps. We only have 3 hits, so we're not going to do B. C is not going to happen because, yes, if one of them were to take a hit, he becomes a bracket, but the other unit that's with him is not a bracket. And so there's still zone of control. And then just to go even further, if both of them become brackets, when they're by themselves, they don't exert zone of control. But if 2 units have a bracket, they do. And you can verify that on your terrain sheet here. Right here, you can see the bracketed thing. 1 unit does not exert control. 2 units stacked together do. So these 2 units are stacked together right now. So they're never going to lose zone of control. So C is not going to happen in this battle. We're going to be doing D. Okay? We're going to be doing D until they retreat twice. After they retreat twice, then we would do A. Okay? I hope that makes sense. So we're going to do D, and we just have to look. So the first question is, what's the hold value? I don't even know. Let me check. It's a 2. So it's a 2. They have 4 steps, so that becomes 6. Are we attacking across the river? No. Is he surrounded? Yes, he is. So that 6 becomes a 3. Okay. Would retreat routes cause a step loss? And the answer is... Ooh. No. No, they wouldn't. And here's why. They take a step loss if they... You can look at the retreat rules here. If they move into an unoccupied hex that's in an enemy zone of control, they remove a step. If they go into an unoccupied hex in an enemy zone of control and not in friendly supply, or into a hex in an enemy occupied by a friendly unit that's unsupplied, they take a step. But into a hex occupied by a friendly unit that's in supply, they don't take a hit. So even though he's surrounded, there's this unit right here, and they can retreat into that space with him, and they will avoid taking a hit if they do that. So we said this was 2 plus 2, or plus 4 is 6. Minus 3 because they're surrounded, but we do not add 4. So that's going to be 3. And have they already treated? No. So it's a 3. If I roll less than or equal to that 3, he takes a step loss. Otherwise, he retreats. Okay, so there's a high chance he's retreating here. So let's roll. I rolled an 8. So I'm just going to get rid of one of these. And yes, he's going to retreat. And they retreat as a stack, by the way. They don't retreat separately. And they're both going to go here, like so. Okay, so now we got this stack of 3 here, but these 2 are still the only ones affected. This guy at the bottom is just a bystander right now. Okay, so now we have 2 hits. They've already retreated once, and we have to go through that same table again, okay? So let me check the hold value of this spot. It's a 2. So if we look at the sheet again, this is a 2, plus 4 is 6. Nope. He's no longer surrounded. The retreat would not require a step loss. And has he already retreated 1 hex? Yes, he has. So 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 2 is 8. So now we're at an 8. I rolled a 2. Okay, so that means they're taking a hit. And the unit that takes the hit is actually very specific. It is the one with the most steps, and then the highest numbered multi-step unit. So this one has 2 steps, that one has 2 steps, and then we would go by the number. So this 13 would take the hit first. So he takes the hit. Yeah, because he's got the highest strength. Okay, so that cancels. We still have one more hit to apply. And we're going to have to roll again. And you can see it's still a 2, but this is now a 3. So that becomes 5. And he has retreated once, so it becomes 7 instead of 8. Okay? So it's 7 instead of 8. It is possible he could retreat. And I rolled a 9, which means he will. So he's going to retreat, or they're going to retreat one more time, and they only took 1 hit. So that resolves all the attack. Okay, so this guy, just these 2, not the one that got sucked in, they're going to retreat along the blue line to here, and then they get disrupted. Okay, disrupted units, by the way, do not exert any zone of control. So he's not doing anything there. With it being late in the game, I'm not sure how helpful it is to have them disrupted, but that concludes our turn. So I'm going to draw 2 cards, and we got another one of these. Actually, this is a different one. These are the red units. And oh my gosh, we got all 3 army cards. So this was a wonderful start. Okay, anything? Oh, we get to do advance after combat. I forgot to do that. Remember, everybody advances here first. So we would do that. But then if they advance again, it has to be along the retreat path. Let me zoom out so you can see. So we moved these units from here to there because I can do that. That's the vacated hex. These units can also go here, but then they have to move again, or otherwise I violate stacking limits. They get a free pass if they move along the retreat path, but the problem is the retreat path is here. They can't move on top of another unit. So what I can do is move to here. If I tried to move to here, that's illegal because it's going into a zone of control when I'm already in a zone of control. You get to ignore the zone of control as long as you follow the retreat path, but that's not the case here. So I do at least have them positioned here on a road, and we can start doing some damage. That's the idea. Now, one other thing, because I know this question came up when I was playing before. If this unit were to somehow move up to here, would we do another roadblock check here? And the answer is no. It's only once per impulse. So if he does it next impulse, then yes, it would be checked again. So it's now the Allies' turn. This is a no command card, so it means they're going to do this engineer event. And you may recall we did an engineer event once already. However, there's a roadblock out there. So let's just put this down and let you look at it. The engineer event, we're going to replace a roadblock in a VP hex or an allied supply with an allied reserve unit per 15.4. So I'm not familiar with 15.4, so let's go look that up. But yes. It's got to be from the same army as the allied unit nearest to the position, and then remove the roadblock marker, if possible. Take a unit in the same division as the on-map allied unit, closest if none, then in the same corps as the closest on-map unit. If a choice remains, take the lowest number. Same army, same division, same corps. Okay, so closest allied unit. Well, first of all, let's look at the roadblock marker. It's here. The closest allied unit is very obvious. It's this one. And so if we pick up the token here, his army is the 423rd. So he's in the 423rd Army. Okay, so we go look in the reserve box, and there's only one other unit that's going to match here. And let's put them next to each other. So the 423rd Army is the one that's on the board. You can see that this guy is the 424th Army, so that doesn't match. However, the division does match. It's the 106th Division, and then of course they're both the 18th Corps. So no matter what, this unit's coming out. I'm just trying to show you how you match them up. They're saying to start with the left number first, then the middle, and then the right. And it's very easy to see because they're both going to be from the same corps. But if I had, like, let's say more than one from this particular corps, the priority would go to whoever's in the 106th Division. And then if I had more than one of those, the priority goes to whoever's in the 423rd, because this is the unit that's on the map. And then if I had more than one from the 423rd, I go by the number down here, lowest first. Okay, so let's put these back on the map. So this unit was here, and then this unit is going to replace the roadblock there, which isn't super helpful, but that's sort of how roadblocks work. And that uses up their engineer command, and their impulse is over. So we now move to our turn, and we have a lot of juicy choices. I still have several army cards. I cannot do this Panzer Corps because remember when we did the camp group, these guys activated, so I can't activate them a second time. And with that said, I can't activate this one either. However, this one says special von der Heydte, which is it's a pretty interesting little dude. And in fact, I'm going to do that. We're going to play the von der Heydte special. This is, of course, there's a unit in here that I've already activated, but we're gonna do the event, the von der Heydte event. So let's do that. It cost me 2 of my 5 command points. And the von der Heydte is a confusing little bugger. So let's go through this step by step. I wonder if the solo booklet has von der Heydte in here. I bet he does. It might actually do a better job. I don't think it does. It just says see events and tactics player aid card. That's a lot of use. Okay. So I get out this card here. This is well, actually I got the wrong one out. It's this guy. So we're gonna do a German event called von der Heydte. And it's a once per game thing. See here? That's a once per game only. Play during your impulse to place the VDH unit in any unoccupied, non-town, clear, broken, or woods hex west of and within 8 hexes of a west wall, north of the 800 hex row, and not adjacent to any unit. Once placed, it may not move and may not retreat. Do not check for roadblocks or bridge destruction when landing. Upon placing it, we have to roll a die to determine its supply state. And then we check it for supply every day. If we were able to rescue these guys, we score a victory point. So that's why I'm doing this. All right, so it's really insane. So it says a non-town, clear, broken, or woods hex. Unoccupied, non-town, clear, broken, or woods, but not forest. Okay, that's an important point. Within 8 hexes, and then above the 800 row. Well, let's figure out where the 800 row is first. The 800 is here. 08, 03, 04, 05, 06, 07. That's the 800 row. So it needs to be north of this row. So it has to be basically north of these squiggly lines here. Okay? It can't be adjacent to any unit, and it has to be within 8 hexes of the west wall. 8. So we grab this unit here, and it has to be north of this squiggly. Okay, 8 hexes from a west wall and not adjacent to any unit. So like, for example, I would say go here, but that's a forest, but there's nothing that qualifies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, I could put it there, for example, but he's already low in supply, and you have to be able to get to him to rescue him. See, I would love to put him here, but this unit is in the way. This is actually not a good time to be playing this, because if the supply on this guy goes out, he eventually could, I don't remember what the term is, but you roll a die and he can basically, they give up. They just basically disappear. And so it's eliminated from the map. And remember, it can't be a forest hex. And so the problem I have is that there's just enough units. Well, no, there's a spot right here. This is not a unit. There's a spot right there that I can put it. And if I can figure out how to get supply to that spot, then he will be saved. Now, supply is a simple, he can trace, 4 hexes from where he's at, but he can't go through any zone of control. That's the issue with him. And between this unit here and this unit here and these two, his zone of control is cut off, or his supply is cut off. But if we can rescue him, we get a point. And it's not really deep into enemy lines, so it is feasible. Let's try it. We played the card, let's do it. So then we roll. I rolled a 7. And the 7 means he's going to start out of supply, which is bad. It's very bad. Full supply would be awesome. But he's going to start out of supply, so we grab one of these, and it goes there. Okay, so I think on turns 16 and 17, we don't do supply checks. Let me check. Nope, we started on turn 17. We're gonna start determining supply status. Oh, interesting. The German units don't do supply checks until turn 19, or December 19th. The Allied units are done on December 17th. So we actually don't do supply checks for the Germans until the 19th. So that means that von der Heydte, even though he's low in supply, he's actually going to get to remove his supply marker because he's, well, okay. It says you remove the marker if he's determined to be in supply. So I think it's just, we're going to be fine. Until December 19th, nothing's going to happen to him, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, we got until December 19th to rescue him. And he's sitting there out of supply. And he can be attacked. The Allies could attack him. They won't because there's no offensive Allied cards in their arsenal. But anyways, that was, how many command points? That was 2 command points. So remember, we can go up to 5. And I'm in an hour and 17. So I'm going to hit stop and stay awesome. And I'll see you in 2 seconds.